curious to know how your sex life on camera has impacted your dynamic, sexual and otherwise, off camera.
Whew.
Yeah. So we definitely kind of made it a thing when we first started camming specifically. I remember at the beginning we had kind of an understanding that we wanted to make sure that our off-camera sex was very connected and very intimate and very present before we perform on camera. So I remember it's like if we ever had an issue, if we had a fight or a disagreement and we like didn't, we were just like, we took some time, like a day or two apart. We made sure that we came back and had an intimate off-camera experience before we decided to connect on screen again. So that felt like a good, like we needed to transition back in. So we weren't disconnected and reconnecting on screen.
Right.
Like we wanted to make sure we were sort of going into that space connected and so that's the best way I can kind of describe it, I think.
Wow, yeah, that sounds great. Melissa, would you add anything to that?
Oh, I'm just laughing because I was like, that's what we used to do. That's right. Now we don't. Like, no, like now there's very little. It feels the only thing intrusive about filming ourselves now is the lights. Like, it's just, the only time I'll say no to filming is just if it's nice and dark and I just really don't want to turn on a light. It has nothing to do with letting other people in. It's like the camera's like a third in our relationship all the time,
so
and it's like totally fine. But back then it didn't feel that way. It felt like a new person, you know what I mean? But now it's just like whatever. The only time like I said, it's like I got a headache.
That thing out of here.
Like I'm not turning that fucking light on. If he'll turn the ISO up really high, we can keep the lights low. You know what I mean? But I don't find a huge difference in our sex on and off camera, other than.
We're fumbling with stuff,
we're fumbling
right?
with stuff. So when we don't have the camera and we're not giving a shit, it's just like uglier sex, if you will, like missionary, like not very exciting, like missionary, like so that would be the only thing that would be different at this point. Yeah.
I would challenge the idea that your boring missionary sex is not exciting. I think lots of people are probably I've seen you guys do some wild things. I'm sure people are like, oh, how romantic. They're doing like the sweet normal thing. That's so great. Yeah. I can relate to that,
And we do that. We definitely do that on cam and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if you're both just hugging each other and that's all that the making love is, there really isn't, you literally can't get a camera to show much of what's going on. Yeah, so it's just kind of like
production value.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not, so I mean, every once in a while, we definitely give people that real experience, but it's just like sometimes I'm just lazy.
Would you say that being able to have sex on camera, knowing people are watching, has allowed you to be more expansive in terms of what you've been able to try to do or what
so grateful for that.
What
so grateful for those people
that you wouldn't have done.
Oh, I have a new one. I've got one ready to go.
Every day we've got these things. Thank God for our viewers. We love our viewers.
Like just recently, because of an influence of another cam model out there, I learned that like putting an ice cube in my butt, for instance, was a thing. I'm like, oh wow, that's fun. I mean, it's not something I'm just gonna like, hey babe, grab me an ice cube when you're on upstairs. I'm just sitting around like, yeah, it's nice. No, but it's fun on camera, and I somebody requested that, and it came from another cam model, and I was just thinking, wow, like, I never would have thought to do that had I not been influenced by somebody in this space.
I mean, did you have to use lube?
No,
lube doesn't help. Lube does not help. And the ass is so much harder to do than the vagina. You put it in the vagina, it's like whatever. But the ass is like, whoa, baby.
And I don't know if you can see in here. Look at these ice cubes. They're the long kind of oval shaped ice cubes. Yes. So the ones in our freezer are not like the block ones.
I have a point to sum this all up. So before we started camming, we just had sex. Now we have sex and we have like sport sex, I think. And we have agreed to it. Like we have decided that is something like we like to do. It's like the craziest positions, weird angles, trying stuff that maybe we wouldn't try when maybe trying stuff that we wouldn't try in our own private lives, but we find it fun or interesting or funny. It's almost more like it's not a turn on. It's like sport, I guess.
Okay.
So I don't know, like, how to explain that, but
Interesting.
yeah. So
would you describe it a similar way?
I don't know that I would use the word sport. I
Like
think
sport
that one's
fucking.
kind of like weird. Like, but
I
more acrobatic, more like
Acrobatic.
I mean, it's entertaining for sure. I think. I mean,
Right,
I just
like,
try to be
and-
entertaining. Really, just it's not even so much like I'm not even so much trying to turn you on every time. I'm just
Right.
almost more just trying to be entertaining.
Yeah, sometimes it's just funny, to like
Mhm.
see. Yeah, I don't know, like.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just all the different kinds of things that we try to come up with are just kind of try to make
I think
sex
I've-
funny.
I
You
think
know what I